Hello and welcome back to RC Model Reviews. Today another Miniquad. Well, there's two of them, but I've already reviewed this one. This is the MXP230 that you've already seen. Everybody loves it, flies really nicely, very quick build, very tough. Can't say much more than that really. But this is its more expensive cousin, the MXP230E. And what does the E stand for apart from expensive? Well, it's not that much more expensive, but this is the fiberglass version. Look how thick those arms are. I remarked on that. It's hugely thick and it's really tough. It's fiberglass all the way through, so that explains that one. But this one is, look at this glossy carbon fiber. Yes, we all know carbon fiber is not only more expensive but also stronger and lighter, or at least that's what they tell us. So take a quick look at this one, what I've done with it. It's got the same HL2304 motors, 2300 kV. It's got the same RCTimer, very cheap 12 amp ESCs. It's got the same Sony Superhead 600 line TV, or 600 TV line camera in a plastic case. What else? It's got the same, hidden deep in the bowels here, if you can get it from this side perhaps, it's got the same Naze Afro mini board, way down in there, Naze Afro mini board, which is located well ahead of the center of the craft. Makes no difference. You can stick it there, you can stick it there, you can stick it here. It works the same no matter where you put it, so you don't have to have it stuck right in the middle. Again, just as with the other one, we've got the two pillars and I've stuck some cable ties on here so that when I put my battery in here, in the back there, it's not going to slide forward and take out the flight controller when I do one of my famous nose landings. So yeah, I mean, that way it's all pretty much the same as the MXP230 I've already reviewed, but on top here, got a different video transmitter. On the old MXP230, got one of those little 7 or 8 gram ones hidden in the back there, tiny little light thing underneath. Yeah, I can still slide a 3-cell battery in there, so that's all fine. But I want to run 4 cells in this machine, because if it's lighter and it's stronger, then hey, 4 cells will make it more fun, won't it? So for that reason, I didn't want to mount a video transmitter underneath, and I had this transmitter here that I want to review. I've got another one somewhere, but I can't find it anywhere. It's the, I'll put the name of it along here when I find the other ones, because at the moment the writing's on the bottom side. But 250 milliwatts. It's very big, isn't it? Very large for an FPV transmitter that's only 250 milliwatts. But what it's got is some really good power filtering, because that's where some of the smaller ones fall down. And it has an onboard switch mode regulator for your camera. So because I'm going to be going from 3 cells, which is 11 volts, to 4 cells, which is 14.4 volts, I need to be able to provide my camera with a constant 12 volt supply so it doesn't get burnt out when I run on 4 cells. This has the onboard regulator. It's got a little jumper to switch between 5 volts and 12 volts. So when I go to the 14 volt pack, the 4-cell pack, my camera will still be getting a nice, safe, clean 12 volt feed. So just a case of changing batteries, no other alterations required, still fly just as good. I've got the freeze guide telemetry on board, but I've only got it set up for the 3-cell pack. So on the 4-cell pack, I'll be flying a bit blind. It won't tell me when it's time to land, unless I decide that 4 cells is so much fun, I'm never going back to 3 with this particular model. So let's have a look. As I said, we've got really comparing the two and trying to work out if one's better or more value than the other. So I suppose we should compare the weights. Since this is supposed to be heavier than that, I shall get these scales from hell. What have I done with them? Oh, here they are. Haven't yet dropped them from a great height. Just waiting for that. It'll happen, don't worry. So we'll get a very approximate ballpark figure within a ton or so of the weight of these things. Let's turn this one on. And here we go. The weight of the standard one is 424 grams. That's the fiberglass one. This one with a slightly heavier video transmitter, but carbon fiber, 372. So there's definitely a weight saving. This is definitely a lighter machine. So even with a 3-cell pack, we should get noticeably better performance. And when we put the 4-cell pack on, well, hopefully it will be a skyrocket. Now, as I've said before, I like the MXP230s, the quick build, good quality product that flies well. This one was not without fault, however. The LEDs on the front here on the power distribution board, cold solder joint on one of those LEDs. I gave it a touch with the iron, no problems, that sorted it out. But something that just to be aware of, it's not going to make your day feel unhappy. It's just, almost cosmetic. So there we go. That's the machine. We've now got to go out there and test it, see how well it flies. Well, there you go. What do you say? Tried it with 5.3 props first, and to be honest, it was a bit gutless. I was a bit disappointed. I was expecting more. Obviously, it was better than the standard MXP230 because of the lighter weight, but I was expecting a bit more pop. And when I put it on 4 cells, I didn't notice a lot of difference. I was disappointed, to be totally honest. So stuck some 5.4s on. Whoa, now she's a rocket ship. Now it flies really nicely. Still have a bit of tweaking to do with PIDs and TPAs and things to get the real performance out of this thing, but it has tremendous potential as a racer. I'm really looking forward to trying to knock the socks off other flyers around here with this, because it really does seem to go. And all the good qualities of the MXP230, the standard one, have transferred through to the carbon one, with the bonus of extra performance, and the 4-cell pack makes a big difference. Now, I haven't noticed any serious syncing issues with the high KV motors and the 4-cell pack with these RCTimer ESCs, but I am aware that depending on the version of Simon K that's burnt into these things, there can be motor syncing issues. I'm going to do a video on motor syncing issues and what motor sync is all about, because it occurs on all sorts of models, fixed wing, multi-rotors, a whole lot. You need to know what it sounds like when your motor loses sync and what it means, because it can take out your motor, it can take out your ESC, it can burn your model up if you're not really careful. So I'm going to do a video, it's an important one. Just a footnote on the MXP230E. I had a really good weekends flying and I was hammering this very, very hard. Unfortunately, I didn't have the Mobius on it. And although I'd had probably half a dozen flights before with the 4-cell pack and the setup you see here, on this flight, I was hammering it even harder than usual. And when I landed, just before I landed, someone said, "Wow, you're smoking." And I thought, "Hey, I'm smoking." But what they meant was actually the Miniquad was smoking. And fortunately, I managed to land it. It started smoking while I was flying around, and I managed to get it down on the ground. And when I landed, this is what I found. As you can see, the ESC on this arm has seen better days. In fact, it was smoking. There was billowing clouds of smoke coming off this arm because the ESC has failed. As you can see, it's just melted the heat shrink. The wires are burnt up. I'll have to check the motor, but I'm probably going to change the motor as a matter of course, because once I've had that much current flowing through them, if one of the FETs goes on hard, then they usually get a bit toasted. It still turns freely and everything, but now I'll throw a spare one in there. And I think I found the limit of these RCTimer 12 amp ESCs. They simply will not work reliably with 4-cell operation. Too much power drawn, they die. So I don't think it's damaged the carbon arm too much, fortunately, but I'll know when I get the ESC off. So I'm going to install the new ESCs I got from Rotor Geeks, and I don't know what I've done with them. Probably got one laying around. They were in my not so weekly news. I'm going to put one of the Rotor Geeks ESCs in there, or I may try a 20 amp Hobby King. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'll keep you informed. Suffice to say, if you're thinking of using the RCTimer 12 amp Simon K ESCs, don't do it with 4 cells. You're probably going to end in tears like this did. So yeah, there you go. Apart from that, what a blast this machine is. Truly impressive punch out, brilliant handling. I really like it. It's different to the blackout. I've taken the prop off there because I had to give it to someone. We ran out of props on the weekend when we were flying. How about that? This doesn't often happen, but we did, so I had to lend one of these props because I couldn't fly this. But yeah, MXP230E, yeah, I like it. It's different to the blackout, handles differently. I don't know that I'd say that any of them's better. They're just different, and they're all enjoyable in their own way. So yeah, if you're thinking of getting a MXP230, I wouldn't stop you. Certainly wouldn't stop you. So that's it. If you've got comments or questions, put them on the bottom of this video in the area nicely provided by YouTube, and I'll do my best to address or answer them. In the meantime, if you want to build your own MXP230, I guess you can, but as I say, you're going to want better ESCs if you go 4 cells. Thanks for watching. Time for me to get back to the bench. Ooh, better clean it first.